Let's go over a few things so that you're well prepared for the exam tomorrow night on Tuesday. So when the exam starts, you'll go over to the Canvas page and you'll go to the assignments and to the page that's created for this in-class programming exam. So what you'll do is you will go to an R data file, which will be uploaded that'll contain the procedure for making your exam. This is just a mock exam just to show you how it's going to go. And you're going to go ahead and download it. Now, as that's going on, you're going to want to make sure that the only tab that you have open in your browser is this Canvas page. You're not allowed to have any other browsers open, any other pages open, and you're not allowed to have any files open, like Word documents, previous homework solutions, etc., throughout the exam. The only thing that'll allowed to be opened is this one web page and then RStudio. All right, so I've downloaded the R data file. What do you need to do next? Well, you're going to want to move this file into your BAS 474 folder. So I'm going to go and find this file, and I'm going to just move this into my BAS 474 Spring 2019 folder. I see that it's there, and now I'm going to navigate over to RStudio. So in RStudio, what I'm going to do is clear out the global environment with the little trash icon. Mine's already empty. And then I'm going to head over to Session and then Load Workspace. And here's where I'll navigate to where my BAS 474 folder is and double click the R data file for this exam. Now, what that will do is it will populate the environment with a function called MakeMyExam. You're going to run this function to make your own personal exam. Everyone's exams are a little bit different. Everyone's data is a little bit different as well. So this will make the one that is just for you. All right, now before running that, make sure that the only file you have open in RStudio is your notes file. So here I've just kind of copied and pasted some notes from the semester. You can have this file contain anything that you want it to. It can be as long or as short as you would like it, but you're only allowed to have one file open. We'll ask you to close any other files if we see them open there. All right, so we've read in the R data file. We see make my exam here. What you'll do is head on over to the console and type in make my exam and then put in your student ID. Now you can put in those preceding zeros if you want, that's not going to matter, but you'll type in your student ID and press return. And it'll let you know that it's making this particular RMD file, which is specific to you, and it asks you to double check to make sure that this is indeed your student ID. Make sure you're using yours and make sure there's no typos. Otherwise that'll complicate grading. So the zeros, of course, are going to be omitted, and once you've gotten that file all generated, now it's time for you to open it up. So you can go to File and Open File and go back to your BAS 474 folder, and hopefully it's there. But if it isn't, like it isn't for mine, well, the reason why is that it's going to be putting that file into whatever working directory you're currently in, which for me is the Downloads folder. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my Set Working Directory, Choose Directory, is set to my BAS 474 folder. And then this way, when I run Make My Exam, it'll put it in the right place. So I can go to File, Open File. There's my exam. I'll open it up. And so these will be the two files that you're allowed to have open, your exam file and then your notes file. So the one library that you'll need to use is the Lubridate library. So before the exam, make sure you can actually load this up. And what you'll do is go ahead and run Make My Exam one more time. It's hashtagged out right here. It'll give you a little bit of an error that says, hey, this exam file already exists, so we'll rename it if you want to use it again or delete it. But really the main purpose of doing this is that if there was any objects that have been created by your function, and you'll see a whole bunch of objects to play around with that are unique to you, that'll restore them to the default values. So once this is open, you can dive right in. You don't actually have to do the Make My Exam again. That'll just restore the environment to where you started out with. You'll want to resize your window so that you can read the instructions. These will be the same set of instructions as for your exam here. Basically, you'll be left arrowing a bunch of objects as you work your way through that exam, and that's how we're going to be grading your exam here. All right, so you'll see a bunch of questions, you'll see some R codes, and you just put in your code to answer the question that's asked. So Q1A says define the integer sequence 1 to 760. All right, that looks good. And we're going to left arrow into Q1A, the average of the sequence. So we would simply say Q1A, left arrow 1 to 760. We see that get into the global environment, and we're good. So we move through all the parts, and here's what you're going to do once you're finished. So when you're finished and you're ready to submit your exam, you're going to make sure to save this RMD file. Notice this is red right now. This represents an unsaved version. So you'll do a file and save, or just a shortcut for the save. So that'll save it to your BAS 474 folder, whatever you hit that opened. And you're also going to save the environment file as a backup. So you'll go to Session, Save Workspace As, make sure it's in your 474 folder, and say my exam.rdata with a capital R and a capital D. You'll save that, and then you'll be ready to head over to Canvas. So going back over to Canvas now, we have our one page open, and here we'll go to Submit Assignment. So it'll say File Upload. We'll choose the file. We will go to the 474 folder and upload your exam. You've saved it, so that's the most recent version. We're going to add another file, and we're going to go and upload the myexam.rdata file as well. You'll submit, and hopefully you will have a success. You'll see these two files that are there, and you'll be good to go. So once again, your procedure is just going to be to download the RData file, move that into your BAS 474 folder, and then open it up inside RStudio. So once you do that, it will have the Make My Exam function in the environment, and so you will run that with your student ID. That will generate the RMD file, your exam file, that's specific to you. So you will go and open it up and fill out the RMD file. You'll put the code in the parts that are labeled for where you should be putting the code for each question. And also when you open up or when you run that Make My Exam, you'll see the environment being populated with all the objects that you'll be using. So there you go. That's going to be the procedure for how to get started with and complete and upload that exam.